Hi, this is Les-Levine, the self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason in Ohio sports. So last night, the football playoff voters did the right thing. They voted Ohio State #1 in this week's voting. They would have gotten it right if Ohio State would beat Michigan on Saturday, but there's more power in the way it actually came down. Now OSU could actually lose this Saturday against Michigan, and if they would then go on and beat Wisconsin or Minnesota in the Big Ten Championship, they probably will still get voted into the top 4. Ohio State is now the New York Yankees, and you know what? Feels pretty good. Hoynes is here. Paul Hoynes, More Sports and Les-Levine, is on the air. From the worldwide headquarters of More Sports and Les-Levine, it's a Wednesday night. It is Thanksgiving Eve. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to More Sports and Les-Levine into our 24th consecutive year and seen exclusively on cleveland.com. All right, Hoynes, I got to fess up. I got to fess up.
Okay.
The way the winds were today, I was not expecting you to be here on time. Nothing personal.
This is when I come on time. There's like 50-mile-an-hour winds.
I think the wind blew you here.
That's right.
You know,
I was like the Wicked Witch of the North.
Were cars flying back and forth?
There were cars moving, though.
It was tough. Is it done now?
No, it's still blowing out there.
It's still blowing. Well, that's not good. 216-575-0403, our last live show before we take off for the Thanksgiving holiday. Monday night, we'll be back here. Doug LeMaries will be here from cleveland.com and the Plain Dealer. And, of course, he'll be covering Ohio State and Michigan and maybe also the Browns and Pittsburgh-Steelers. You're going to do double duty tonight here. You're going to do football.
Okay.
Well, you covered the Browns from win to win.
Boy,
I want to say 83 to
Yeah, I
something.
covered them. I covered the Cardiac Kids. I covered...
the end of Brian Sipe?
I covered when he was with when Forrest Gregg was a coach.
Okay.
I covered some games when Nick Skorich was a coach.
Wow.
I go that, but mostly I've covered regular. I think I used to do spring training, and then I started doing, full season. I was doing sidebars and stuff. So
right.
I covered for about 3 or 4 years, I think.
Nick Skorich at one time, for a long time, was the only coach the Browns ever hired who had been a coach before, head coach. He coached in the early 70s, right?
Right,
After
yeah.
Blanton Collier.
Yeah.
And then there was, I don't know how many, I think it went, I don't remember who it went to, but it was a long time before Art Modell hired anybody who had been a head coach before.
Yeah.
But Carson hadn't been one, had he?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so.
I think he was a coordinator, right?
Yeah. Did you get along with Art?
I loved Art.
See, I've said that. I hate what he did was the most, I've never used this word before, the most dastardly trick or event that anybody could have done to take the Cleveland Browns and move them. But it's almost like saying, except for that one guy that so-and-so killed, he was really a nice guy.
Right.
I'm not suggesting that about Art Modell. I really enjoyed being around that guy.
He was a fun guy. He was a reporter's dream,
right.
At least to me.
And he knew it.
Yeah, that was my first big beat.
Yeah.
And you could call him at any time at home. I mean, you could call him at midnight, and he'd answer the phone, and he'd talk to you. He'd tell you what you wanted to know.
Right.
He was great. He was a
PR guy.
Yeah.
First and foremost.
He was, and he would tell you stuff on the record, off the record.
I remember in the early 90s. I was doing a remote broadcast on WHK, and we had him on the phone. And we were just talking about everything. This is before any of the stuff hit the fan. And then there was no reason for me to bring this up, but I was worried for some reason because I had heard a rumor that there had been some discussion about him either selling the team or moving it. And I just said, I just said something about the future, and he said, whatever he said, and I said, look, all I want is some assurance that my grandchildren will be able to enjoy the Cleveland Browns in Cleveland. He says, oh, don't worry about that. This isn't doom and gloom. And I said, Art, you're on the show called Doom and Gloom right now. Me, Tony Grossi, and Ed Meyer.
That's right. That was the best show.
What a group of whack jobs that was. All those, Tony is great, but he was more feisty in those days.
Yeah.
And Ed Meyer was Incredible. Incredible.
Eddie was great. Yeah.
I remember I don't know if you were covering the Browns when they had down inside the concourse, as it were. It was just a big concrete heap, and Belichick would come out and walk up on top of a couple of steps, and Ed Meyer would just look like this. He'd have his notes down here, and Bill was up there, and he would just rip him to shreds without looking up at one moment. And it used to get Belichick so frustrated because he didn't know, he couldn't talk to anybody. Nobody was looking at him. I hate to say this, but that was fun.
Yeah, I when Eddie first came on the beat, I was on there, but I didn't cover Belichick. I covered, boy, who did I cover? I covered Sam Rutigliano and Forrest Gregg.
Marty? Forrest Gregg?
And I covered, but Marty was a coach then. I don't think I covered him when he was the head coach.
You know what you know about Bill Belichick? Give me your reaction to what I'm about to tell you. Up until Belichick came to Cleveland, which was 91, he said, up until that time, the day before training camp would start, there would be a softball game between the media and the assistant coaches, the coaching staff.
I played in one.
You played in it, so you were aware of it.
Yeah.
So Belichick comes out and he says, "My coaches are going to do what?" Can you imagine him?
Yeah.
Because he wanted full control. Heaven forbid some coach would actually talk to a media member.
Right.
And so Belichick sits out at Lakeland. He sits on the, well, it wasn't a grandstand, but it was a little softball, couple of rows of benches. And he got out there and he just put his hand down on his head like this and just kind of laid down and watched the festivities. And you could see he was burning up, pitch by pitch, going crazy. And that was our introduction. He says, "By the way, I hope you enjoyed this game. It's the last one you're ever going to see."
That's so fast.
I wonder you ever wonder what would have happened if he stayed? He took 5 years off before going to New England.
Yeah.
And I don't know what he did during those 5 years, but he must have learned a lot.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he knew what he was talking about, and he got him into the Browns into the playoffs the one year.
Yeah, 94.
Yeah, and but I didn't cover him. I did like one story with him or something. He was fine, but I looked at, I watched him on TV, and he never looked a guy in the eye,
right.
and I just said, how do you hire a guy like this? He must have, really impressed Modell though.
Yeah, somehow. So I've always wanted to be a fly on the wall in that conversation. See how that worked. The latest college football playoff poll is out, and Ohio State has jumped over LSU. I think it's just natural to think it's going to be LSU and Ohio State with Joe Burrow against the Buckeyes. Here's the top 10. Penn State is down to the 10th spot. They gave a lot of credence, I think, to Penn State.
Yeah.
Losing to Ohio State,
definitely.
played it pretty well, I think. So that's it. That's the week of the 25th. Now, I mentioned in my commentary, Hoynes, that if Ohio State loses to Michigan, they still could be in the top 4.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, like a one loss, that doesn't end it, you don't think?
Right, because then they could win the Big Ten champion title and do that. Joe-Schobert wins the AFC Defensive Player of the Week award. He had 2 interceptions for the second time in a row, and 5 tackles, 4 passes defended, 2 interceptions versus Miami. 6th linebacker in NFL history to have 2 interceptions in back-to-back games. So here's a guy who we were wondering if he's even going to make the squad, and now he comes back 2 weeks in a row and comes up with 2 interceptions in each of those games. Has Baker-Mayfield turned the season around as far as you're concerned?
I think so. I think the competition has something to do with it as well, but he sure looks sharp. And
well, let's take a look at the first 8 games. You see it right there. The record 2-6, and then now in the last 3, he's 3-0. 58.7% completion ratio versus the 64.4, and he's averaged 245 yards per game to the current 252. 7 touchdowns and 12 interceptions in the first 8. 7 touchdowns and 1 interception in the last 3 games. You've been around sports long enough to have an opinion on this. You got the incredible stuff that went on when these two teams met 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago. I think it's going to be the cleanest game of the year. How do you look at it?
Yeah, I think it's like, you know, if you can compare it to baseball, you know, a team loses 12-1
Right.
in the first game of the series, then it's 2-1.
3-2,
the next game. I bet it is. I bet everyone is on their best behavior because they know everybody's going to be watching that game.
Exactly.
And if there's payback, you can always get payback down the road.
It's a long season.
Yeah.
It's a long career. For
Right.
some. You know, some of these things, and you know as well as anybody, some of these pitches that come in, that could have been payback from 5 years ago.
Yeah. Pitchers are like elephants. They never forget.
And the umpire has to say, hey, is there something between these two guys?
Yeah.
Whatever happened? Well, did you know that there are over 238,000 winners of the Ohio Scratch-Offs each day? Believe it or not, with that amount of winning, stop by your local retailer, try your luck on any of the popular holiday-themed scratch-offs from the Ohio Lottery. Northfield Park is your home for live and simulcast racing. Catch the excitement of live harness racing every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday on the weekend, and special live racing throughout the month that you're going to hear about. Check out Northfield Park. It's free admission, free parking every day. We'll come back in a moment with Hoynesy. Hoynesy, you wrote about the Twins and the White Sox. Has the power shifted in the AL Central? We'll talk about that when we get back.
Good deal.
Paul Hoynes with us. You working on a rant, or you got it already?
I'm thinking about it.
I'm just worried because when you show up in time, I'm wondering if you have enough time to work on it.
Hopefully.
All right.
Hopefully.
If you need to drive around the block a few
Yeah.
times. Back in a moment. More Sports and Les-Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino now has sports betting. Use one of the 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet. Then, watch your favorite games on our new HD televisions or visit our new sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
As a kid growing up, my dream was to go to college, play baseball, and get a degree. Coming out of high school, I had two choices. I was accepted into a four-year university, but I decided to come to Tri-C after receiving a scholarship. I got my associate's degree at Tri-C. They transferred all my credits straight into Baldwin-Wallace, so I started at Baldwin-Wallace University as a junior. My name is Tyler Leonard, and I earned my first degree at Tri-C.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
As we look at Cleveland Browns, really not a lot to talk about from a personnel standpoint. We played these guys very recently. We got a lot of respect for their talents and the run that they're on. Baker's been awesome during the course of that win streak and providing splash for them, extending plays, doing what he does, getting those receivers involved. Nick Chubb is Nick Chubb, man. He's one of the top rushers in the league. They're one of the top rushing teams in the league. You know, the addition of Kareem Hunt has done nothing but accentuate that. On the defensive side of the ball, man, they got talent at all levels. They do. Up front at linebacker level, 5'3" is on fire and doing a great job of being the catalyst for the turnover game for them. I know he was against us. They got top quality guys in the secondary. We're excited about this game, man. We love being in hot button games. We love being in hotly contested AFC North games. To be quite honest with you, we're not a group that runs from these type of games. We're the type of group that runs to these type of games. We view it as an honor to be the consistent team in these battles, man. We've had some battles with the Ravens over the years. That's kind of been the signature matchup in the North. We've had some battles with Cincinnati over the years, which grew to be kind of a signature matchup in the North, and maybe the same thing's happening with this. We don't know, nor do we care. We just want to be a part of it, whatever it is, because this is a competitor's game and a competitor's league. And so we're excited about being a part of that. But it goes beyond that, man. We got some work to do. We got to prepare. We got to position our guys. They got to ready themselves. We're excited about doing so.
All right, Mike, here's what you need to know. 5'3" is joe-schobert. I know he wears number 53, and I know you don't know him even though he had 2 interceptions against you. It's 5'3" is joe-schobert. Okay, got that straightened out.
The coach,
Now,
that's typical coach talk.
well, you know what? It's the first coach's talk in the NFL where I haven't heard the one coach say, well, they're very well coached. I think that's a little shot at Freddie. Right? Don't they all use the same standard speech?
Yeah, right,
Well, he
right.
forgot that part about well coached. So, first of all, I like Mike Tomlin. I think he's done a tremendous job. And the Pittsburgh organization that they keep guys 50 years, right?
Right. They don't turn over coaches, that's
No,
for
they,
sure.
they don't do that. That is for sure. Let's turn our attention to baseball here. The White Sox made a deal, right?
Yeah,
Grandal.
signed, right. They signed Yasmani-Grandal 4-year.
Did that surprise you?
I thought, yeah. Well, not really, because they tried to go big last year with Machado or Harper and missed. And they went, right. They hit early this winter and got, the best catcher on the free agent market.
He's a two-time All-Star. Didn't hit much, 241, but look at the home runs. 28 home runs last year. His career average 241 last year. He had 246. They got a lot of. It seems to me they got a lot of the same guy, don't they? Chicago.
They've got a lot of good hitters. Les, this guy, can play first base. He can DH. They re-signed Jose Abreu. They gave him a qualifying offer. Then they tore that up and gave him a 3-year offer. They've got Moncada, who went crazy, 315. They've got Tim Anderson, the shortstop, who led the big leagues in batting average.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, and the kid Eloy Jimenez.
That's the guy they love.
The outfielder that had a career against the Indians last season.
I thought up until Chicago added some guys here, I thought the Indians. It would be a repeat of this past year, the Indians in Minnesota, with Minnesota losing some guys to free agency, especially pitchers. But now, who's got the power in the AL Central? Let's take a look at Minnesota. They won 101 games. Rocco Baldelli is the manager of the year, and they hit a ton of home runs, 307 to lead MLB, and they hit 270. And without Joe Mauer, you would think that they wouldn't hit as well as they would with Mauer.
Yeah, well, Mauer had turned into a singles hitter.
Right. He was a doubles hitter, became a singles hitter.
Right, and so they bring in a C.J. Cron to replace him at first base. Jonathan Chubb, Nelson Cruz, who they picked up his option. Cruz, went off like 40 home runs. He had a great season. He's like 90 years old though, and they picked up his option. And they bring Jake Odorizzi back to help that rotation. They still, I think, they lost Greg. Kyle Gibson. Texas just signed him today and gave him $30 million. And I thought, Kyle Gibson, come on. But
I would have thought a deal like that would have opened the floodgates, but that hasn't, has it?
No, I mean, but there's been some action. It's been a little more fluid than the last 2 years. The market, I think Atlanta set the tone. They went out and signed, a couple of relievers. Will Smith got a big deal from he was a free agent from the Giants. Then they signed their own guy, Chris Martin. They picked up Nick Markakis' option, and they brought in they signed a catcher from Tampa Bay, Denard. So
okay, so in all this action, the Indians haven't been involved yet at all.
No, the Indians haven't.
So do you think the Indians' phones are ringing, or do you think they're making the phones ring?
I think it's going both ways. I think, they obviously need some help. They've got to get an infielder. I don't think Kipnis is coming back. They've got to get somebody to play either second or third base. They've got to
What's their preference?
I think, from kind of the flow chart thing, I think they want to find a third baseman.
So move Ramirez to second.
So, let Ramirez play second. Then when Nolan Jones is ready, you just kind of find a stopgap third baseman.
I'm talking about Ramirez now. Is he as good a third baseman defensively as he is second base? Or?
I thought he was a better third baseman. He turned into a better third baseman. When they moved him over to second base 2 years ago, and late in the season. He didn't look like the same guy to me. But everybody swears he's second base is his best position. I just thought he got a little too big to play the position, and the switch kind of caught him in between.
Right.
So, but if he has a full spring training and a full off season to work on, to know where he's going to play, I think he'll be fine.
Okay, so Kansas City and Detroit.
They're out of it.
They're out of it before the first pitch is thrown in spring training.
They're Detroit lost 114 games,
right.
and Kansas City lost 103. Unless John Sherman, their new owner, goes crazy.
I want to talk about that in a moment, but I want to ask you who's the favorite right now as it stands in the Central. You got Cleveland, you got you've got the Chicago-White-Sox and Minnesota Twins. All of them can make an argument.
Yeah, I think I'd stay with the Twins. They won 101 games. They're the defending champ. The thing the Indians have going for them that neither the White Sox or the Twins have, they have starting pitching. And it's solid starting pitching, 1 to 5, and they've got some depth to it.
When you were here last week, not long before you left, you got the word on this Sherman, the new owner of the Kansas City Royals. You and I were kind of surprised by that because we thought, what you thought and I thought was that Sherman was helping infuse some money into the Indians organization. But what it now looks like is not only did he infuse it, now Paul Dolan is going to have to find a way to either sell it or buy it back himself. And that's not good news.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. They put Sherman's shares in a trust.
Okay.
And it's up to Sherman. It's governed by an independent trustee, and it's up to Sherman to find a buyer for those shares.
Which could be Dolan?
Yeah, I guess. No one has said that if Dolan has the right to buy him back, or if Dolan has, the right of first refusal.
So is this a good deal for Cleveland, or can they make it a good deal, or is it a bad deal?
Well, I think if they find the right minority owner, it's a good deal because that money comes back into the team.
Right. So Sherman gets the 20% share? Is that what he got?
It was
in the
about
Indians?
30%.
30% share, and now there's 30% sitting in a trust. And can the Indians touch it in any way?
I don't think so. No. I mean, it's not. It's not their money. It's Sherman's money.
There's no Cleveland company or person that I know of, and maybe you do know, that is in position to make that purchase or desire to make that purchase.
Yeah, well, just think how long Dolan looked for a guy like Sherman, and Sherman obviously got into it to buy a team. I think they felt the report came out after he bought, his approval of the Royals, was approved, that he was in line to buy the Indians. That was, that's what.
And we didn't know that was part of the deal.
And that was what the commissioner told the Kansas City Star. So, that was a little new. And obviously, if the next minority owners, if he's going to come in as big as Sherman did, I would think.
They're not paying that kind of money to let Paul Dolan make the decisions.
Right, and you're not getting there to get all the free hot dogs and nachos you can eat.
You mean like Jimmy Haslam did with the Steelers?
That's right. You wanna eventually get your foot in the door in that club, that exclusive club, and either buy that club or move on to another club.
216-575-0403. We're inching so much closer to a Paul Hoynes rant. Can't wait for that. I just have a hunch. Turkey and Thanksgiving are going to be involved, but I could be wrong, right?
You could be wrong.
And chocolate cake and ice cream, the traditional holiday serving. 216-575-0403, Northeast Factory Direct. You got 3 locations plus the northeastfactorydirect.com. East and west, as well as to the south. The south is the Freeway Drive location in Macedonia. Then you've got Lakeland Boulevard, the old B&B Appliance, and West 140th Street. That's the original one. And there are no gimmicks, no deceiving blowout sales. Just 3 huge bare-boned warehouses filled with some of the same stuff you're going to find at a number of stores, except for one thing: the price tag is going to be half price or even less than that. You check it out. They make no comments that are wrong. Whatever they say is correct on how much you're going to save and how good the quality is. That's at northeastfactorydirect.com. You can follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/more-sports-and-les-levine, with new content posted each and every day. We'll get to your comments about our question of the day when we get back. More Sports and Les Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
Get your basement ready for the holidays.
There was moisture in the basement, it ruined the carpeting, the smell was terrible. We didn't feel safe in our own basement, and that's when we called Nature Stone.
And with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, you will never have to replace your basement flooring again. For a limited time, get Nature Stone installed now and pay nothing until next year. Payments as low as $99 a month. No interest, no down payment. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today. It's not just a floor. Wow, it's Nature Stone.
National Holidays expert Mary here with a list of holidays you won't want to miss. Get your Ohio Lottery Merry Million scratch-offs for National Donut Day, National Have a Party with Your Bear Day, Pickle Day, National Unique Talent Day, Take a Hike Day, and America's favorite, National Jukebox Day. Every day is a reason to celebrate. Grab a Merry Millions and other Ohio Lottery holiday scratch-offs today.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a line, a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
This portion of More Sports and Les-Levine brought to you by Tri-C, and you can explore your interests and find a program that puts you on the path. Johnny Blood, what a great name for a football player. Green Bay Packers. Yeah. Lease an apartment, 1947. Ivan Rodriguez, who magically, a great weight loss
I think
diet that he had one year.
Was it his birthday today? I think it might.
Yeah,
oh, yeah, right.
2019, November 27th.
Yeah.
Nick Van Exel played his college basketball at University of Cincinnati. Jimmy Rollins. And would I be right if I said future former Indian Bradley Zimmer, or do they still have a hope for him?
I don't know. He's a big question mark. He's a really big question mark. He's got to have a good spring.
I would think. All right, help me out on this one. A how come quickie. How come a medical student doesn't receive a Doctor of Doctors degree? I have no idea what that means. I wrote it and I have no idea. I want to touch on an email I got from Paul in Finley. I don't understand why the Browns just released Devereaux Lawrence, defensive lineman. He played in 11 games, had an interception, a sack, and several starts. With no Garrett, why not retain some depth on the defensive line? Wasn't somebody else expendable? No, their problem was they also had to activate David Njoku, the tight end. So that was two people they had to replace on the roster. So there you go. I see that Pharaoh Brown was put on the injured list the other day. So maybe that was a way of getting Njoku on. 216-575-0403. All right, the White Sox waived Yolmer Sanchez. Did I pronounce that right?
Yes.
All right, the second baseman won the Cy Young Award. No, he didn't. He won the Gold Glove Award. Boy, if he won the Cy Young Award, that's the guy you want to get.
That's right. Yeah.
A Gold Glove second
Two-way
baseman.
player.
Two for the price of one.
Ohtani has nothing on this guy.
Nothing. He is 27 years old, 6 Major League seasons, hit 252 with a couple of home runs. Won the Gold Glove in 2019. Just by looking at this, I would think that Kipnis would be a better value.
Yeah, I mean, Kipnis is a better offensive player. This guy's probably a better defensive player. He can also play second or third, so he would, fit into the Indians' plan there, depending on which way they go with Ramirez. But, I think there's a lot of guys out on that market, Les. It's Drupal Cabrera, Brock Holt, to name a couple.
You want his Drupal?
I don't know. I thought he played pretty well in the World Series.
Yeah,
I don't know if
I don't
know if you can see him, in the lineup every day. Is he an everyday guy right now? I don't know. That's
well, playing where? Where would you play him?
I'd play him at second, probably.
Okay. All right. There is one guy, a valuable trade asset with the Indians. That would be pitcher Corey-Kluber. What do you think of him? He's 33 years old now, 9 major league seasons, and 35 2/3 innings pitched last year. You can't tell he was injured all year. And he's got a $17.5 million club option exercised for the 2020 season. First of all, are you happy they exercised that option? And number 2, is that just so he's an asset and still is on the roster?
Yeah, you know, that's a great question. I wasn't really surprised that they exercised the option, but you know, I can't understand why there's so much talk about him during the off season, about trade talk. I mean, if you're a team and the guy's made 7 starts during the season, you know his track record, obviously, but are you really going to trade for him during the winter?
I wouldn't think so.
Yeah, you got to see him pitch,
You got to
right?
see what he is, and the team that would trade for him has to see him pitch also.
Yeah, but you know, people are like, there's been a lot of rumors saying that they're going to get a truckload of prospects for Kluber. Come on, you can't. I mean, let's be realistic. You couldn't trade probably Kluber until mid-June or July, and
then
you'd have to be in the
season.
tank,
Yeah.
and he'd have to be pitching very well.
Yeah, I think it's easy to say load him up and get him out, but I think if you'd made the decision to keep him and meet his option, you got to use him.
Yeah, and teams. I mean, people are saying, he didn't pitch all last year. He's going to be healthy. He'd been put through the ringer the last 4 or 5 years. Lots of innings, lots of pitches, and this is going to revive him. But okay, maybe it will. But you got to see it first.
Well, all right, we talked about Minnesota. We talked about Chicago-White-Sox. Is the Indians pitching, which will be maybe the best in the American League, right?
I
Starting
think so,
pitching?
yeah.
All right. So why?
Houston will right there.
No, they cheat. I got to ask you, when we're done with this, got to ask you what can be done from the commissioner's point of view. But we talk about Chicago. They loaded up offensively, and so did Minnesota. But is the Indians pitching still good enough to ride them through?
I think so. I think you've still got Lindor, you've still got Ramirez, you've still got Santana. That's a pretty good core. Mercado came on, I think, in the number 2 spot. So I think you've still got enough offense there. But and the pitching should carry you. The question, you probably got some holes in the bullpen. I think you've got to address that.
Remember in the 80s, the late 80s, when Cleveland State basketball was put on probation. Remember, they put him on probation for recruiting Manute Bol.
Right, yeah.
When
he knocked out his teeth on the backboard.
Yeah. So Abe Lemons supposedly said they caught Kentucky cheating, and it said they're getting NCAA getting very serious. They're going to add 2 more years onto Cleveland State's probation. So what can really be done with Houston? They got caught barehanded, right?
Well, I mean, they're looking into it, and like we've talked about, it's not just 2017 now; it's
going back.
18 and 19 too. So, I would think.
How did they think they could get away with it in this day of modern technology?
Yeah, I mean, obviously they did. I mean, I guess you keep going until you get caught, and maybe that's it. And it kind of leads me to believe, how many people really knew what was going on, But
within the organization or within baseball?
Yeah, within the organization.
Right.
But I've been told that everybody knew that when you play Houston, you really have to be careful.
All right, here's what I've never understood. Let's say they did. It's not nice of me to just assume that they cheated, but they cheated. And when you get a player like, you bring in Michael Brantley or whoever, somebody's going to say, hey, Michael, we just want you to know this is what we do here, and if you're interested in knowing what the pitches are, here's what you do. And then a guy gets traded from Houston. He's not going to keep that quiet. He's going to say they've been cheating. How do they think they can get away with that?
Yeah, that's a great point, and that's what happened. Mike Fryer's the Houston pitcher. He's the one that spilled the beans.
In your talking to players over the years, do you find most would like to know what the pitch is or not like to know?
I think most of them would like to know, especially breaking ball. If a breaking ball is coming, I think most of them would like to know. But some guys don't. But I think I think you have to be. They have to know. They have to believe that you've got the signs.
Right.
Yeah. Because I guess you don't want to be.
Here's what I'm thinking. If it's me, this will be the one time I'm ready for the fastball.
Yeah.
This will be the time they've been setting me up for 3 years and give me a breaking ball with a 3-2 count.
Yeah, I think you have to be. You have to if you're doing that. If you're a hitter that likes that, you have to be convinced that your guys have got the signs.
Okay, what's kind of gone under the radar now is the minor leagues and what they're doing with that, and maybe getting rid of some teams, which I don't understand. Maybe you can help me and tell me why.
Well,
and Mahoning Valley would be one of them.
Right, the short season, the Indian Short Season Club and the Penn State League. Major League Baseball and the minor leagues have their contract expires at the end of the 2020 season. Major League Baseball wants an upgrade in all the several facilities, in specific facilities, I should say, in the minors. So they're not sending their players to these facilities that don't have workout rooms, that don't have places to eat, that have bad fields, that are basically, they're playing. These kids are coming from college, and they played in better facilities at college than they are in the minors.
But, for example, Mahoning Valley, don't the Indians own them?
No, they don't own them. No.
It's a private owner?
Yeah, and they supposedly put like $600,000 into a weight room, this past season. So, I think there's, so they've said that if you with the teams that aren't, that don't meet the big leagues qualifications, they are going to, there's like 40 to 42 teams that they've talked about contracting.
Right.
And from there they form a dream league, and they would also cut the draft back from 50 rounds to 20 to 25
so the Dream
rounds.
League, it seems to me, if you're a Dream League, or if you're not good enough to be drafted, I don't know how you'd be on a Dream Team, but there must be something else. So 42 teams would be trimmed. Mahoning Valley Scrappers would be one of them. They're reorganizing the structure, upgrading the facilities, and as Hoynes says, creating a Dream League for players that they go undrafted. It won't mean anything to us, but Mahoning Valley, it's a pretty cool place for those people, for
it's nice.
Baseball fans to go.
And the first thing the minor leagues did, that the teams were threatened, they went right to Congress, they went right to their representatives to protest, and baseball's had that sweetheart deal with the antitrust deal for years, so they went right for the jugular.
Don't we have a few things we got to take care of before we get to minor league baseball?
We might get impeachment out of the way, but
and then go for it.
Yeah.
All right, 216-575-0403 is the number to call. We'll get back to that and more. You can go to Tri-C on their website. They offer more than 1,000 courses and over 140 career and technical programs. Go to tri-c.edu for more information. We'll come back in a moment. Paul Hoynes is with us. We're getting ever so close to a Hoynesy rant. I can't wait. Back in a moment. More Sports and Les-levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
As a kid growing up, my dream was to go to college, play baseball, and get a degree. Coming out of high school, I had two choices. I was accepted into a 4-year university, but I decided to come to Tri-C after receiving a scholarship. I got my associate's degree at Tri-C. They transferred all my credits straight into Baldwin-Wallace, so I started at Baldwin-Wallace University as a junior. My name is Tyler Leonard, and I earned my first degree at Tri-C.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
here, let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant. Whatever it takes.
Hoynesy, this date in sports history, I want to talk about this with you. In 1941, Joe DiMaggio was named AL MVP, despite the fact Ted Williams hit .406 that year. That, of course, the year that DiMaggio hit 56 straight games. And what's the story? One writer who hated Williams didn't vote for him, and if he even voted him in the 10th spot, he would have won.
I think, yeah, it was something like that, or he voted him 10th, or what it was some crazy
I think he did not vote him at all because he didn't like him. Well, that should, in all deference to the way you guys vote, his vote should have been taken away immediately.
I would think. And I don't know if they, we make our votes public now, so I'm sure they weren't making the votes public now.
Yeah, but your vote's public before the winner comes out or after?
After it's announced. Like 14 days, I think, after for the Hall of Fame, the ballot. Well, these are immediately the awards, MVP.
Knowing what you know now, would you have voted for Williams or DiMaggio?
Wow.
What's a greater feat in a year? 56-game hitting. And by the way, the 56-game hitting streak is pretty good. Then he gets stopped and he goes 16 more.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Right? 16 or 18.
But
more.
I think either you vote one first or second.
Yeah,
you
don't vote at first and nothing.
Yeah, it's hard to ignore that. One or the other. Jeez.
Do you think in 1941 were they still throwing their gloves out on the field?
I bet they were.
People
behind second base.
Young people have no idea what I'm talking about.
Right.
Shortstop would throw his glove out into short left field, and the ball would never hit it. The guys would never trip over it.
That's what I'd be afraid of, tripping over the glove.
So why did they do that? It's not like they were borrowing the guys.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know. That's a great question.
216-575-0403. Paul Hoynes is with us. Northeast Factory Direct is with us also. For 4 great locations, if you count northeastfactorydirect.com, you got the east and west and south, and you're going to save a lot of money, whether it's on whatever, furniture, hot tubs, mattresses. They've got them there as good as anywhere in the city, and at half price or even more taken off if you check them out. 3 bare-boned warehouses filled with some of the same stuff you're going to find elsewhere, but you know what? They pay about 10% of what other big box stores pay for rent, and they pass that savings directly on to you. Alex in his 20th year of doing it this way, and there's no better retail story than Northeast Factory Direct. With Sokolowski's University Inn, how about this, Hoynesy? They were just chosen by Wine and Food magazine, which is the prestigious magazine and periodical in the food business. They were named the number two restaurant, a cafeteria style, in the country.
Wow.
How about that? I can't even imagine what number 1 would be. I'll stick with Sokolowski's, where I go just about every Thursday. I'm going to miss it tomorrow. They have this silly holiday where they don't serve I'm trying to get them to serve Salisbury steaks on Thursday for Thanksgiving. Can't do it. We're still going to hold off to the old-fashioned way. They also have the big wine tasting contest coming up on Sunday, December 15th at 3 p.m. Check it out at Sokolowski's University Inn. We'll come back in a moment. Paul Hoynes is with us. More Sports and Les-Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
Get your garage ready for the holidays.
We had some cracks in the floor. We needed to enhance the beauty of it. That's when we called Nature Stone.
Nature Stone corrects uneven concrete, so you don't have to worry about tripping or slipping. And with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, you will never have to replace your garage floor again. For a limited time, get Nature Stone installed now and pay nothing until next year. Payments as low as $99 a month. No interest, no down payment. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today. It's not just a floor. Wow, it's Nature Stone.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a line. A long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Presque Isle Downton Casino now has sports betting. Use one of the 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet. Then, watch your favorite games on our new HD televisions or visit our new sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downton Casino.
All right, for those of you who follow the show, this will be the How Come Quickie segment of the show, because Hoynes will have a rant at the end. November 27th, 1973, this date in Les-Levine history. Les worked part-time at a shoe store. When a customer wanted to buy a pair of alligator shoes, Les says, "What size does your alligator wear?" It's the only question you can ask, right?
That's right.
Then we go back in this week in history and see what we have here for... this is 2013. Les is selected for the Wall of Achievement at Brush High School. As a result, the voters wanted to change the name of it to the Wall of Pretty Good. They didn't want to put achievement into that. This is a true story, Hoynes. 1994, Cavaliers set an NBA record, attempting just 2 free throws in a 101-87 win. Hot Rod Williams and Tony Campbell each went 1 for 1. Actually, that's not true. They went 1 for 2, I think. No, 1 for 1. And while watching the game, Les said, "Yeah, I can do better than that." So Mike Fratello came over and said, "All right, Levine, get in there for Mark Price." Then we continue on, see what else we have. That's it from this week. Now, we also want to check out. What we're thankful for. This is our Facebook question of the day. Well, as Cleveland sports fans, do you have anything you're thankful for?
Oh boy!
Don't be cynical. You think about it. I'll tell you what some of our viewers have to say. Mark Haas says that we have Cleveland teams, good or bad, they're here. That's true, 3 of them.
Yeah, definitely.
Danny Foreman, that we have 3 Major League franchises in C-Town. Rick May says, "I'm thankful that I'm able to watch Cleveland sports teams be competitive and do what with families and friends that I love. I'm also thankful that my loyalty to Cleveland has never been questioned." Ted Moon says, "I'm definitely thankful for the Browns and Indians front offices, including Tito and John Dorsey, even the Cavs. Each front office has brought stability to their respective organizations, especially the Tribe, whose guys overachieve annually." Dennis Davis says the Indians have a Hall of Fame manager and an outstanding general manager. And Gerard Morelli, the football team, looking up again finally. Glenn used to look up to teams in the standings. Glenn Berger, now that the Browns have become a respectable football team that hopefully will improve every year, the Browns fans have suffered for 20 years while supporting this inept team year after year. Do you agree with all that?
Yeah, definitely. Those are good. Those are some good ones.
All right. Let's see what we have to do here. We got some quickies here. You ready? You got to grade them.
All right, I'm ready.
Right,
I'm ready. I got my magic marker here.
All right, Ray from Euclid says, "How come the drugstore used to say it was a drug-free workplace?" It's a drugstore. Got to have drugs.
Yeah, I'm going with a 3.5
wow.
on that one.
Wow, that's low. That is low. All right, here's the deal. You're not aware of this. Bud Shaw and I worked on this last night. I don't mind people stealing, cheating. I don't mind. But when they use a How Come Quickie that I just wrote a week ago, don't you think they should be suspended for a month or 2?
They should at least give you some credit.
All right, well, Big Ed, who stole my quickie, and it was less than a week, for goodness sake. But he's come up with, he's trying to bribe his way back. He says, "How come when I asked my brother why he left his job because of illness, he said the boss was sick of him?"
That's 6.5.
6.5.
I like that.
"How come when the doctor's office called my grandpa and said his check came back, he said, 'Well, so did my arthritis.'"
That's 7.8 right there.
You know what I love? When I go to my doctor, you check in, and about 5 feet behind where you check in, there's a sign that says, "Please stand behind this for HIPAA reasons," privacy.
Right.
And then you check in, Les Levine here, sit over there, please. And I sit there, and the nurse comes out and said, "Les Levine, your whatever, your test is ready." Everybody looks around and says, "He has that? Wow." It's unbelievable. Let's see what else we have. Still have a bunch of quickies to get to. Peter Miller, "How come I hated facial hair, but then it grew on me?"
Oh, I like that.
That's what happened with me.
That's probably 9.5. 9.5 right there.
Mr. Gullible. All right, I have to fess up on this one too. I was going through the some recent quickies, and I saw this from Mr. Gullible back in October, and I could be wrong. I don't remember reading it, so if I did, then I apologize. But if not, they're pretty good. How come the math teacher who's afraid of negative numbers will stop at nothing to avoid them? It's a math quickie.
That's pretty good.
You got a number?
That's
Math?
pretty good. I'd say that's a negative negative 9.8.
It has to be. How come the most hygienic musical instrument is a tuba toothpaste? Wow. John Patrick writes. John Patrick says, "Happy Thanksgiving lesson, Paul. How come I remember when you needed a ticket to see the tattooed lady? Everybody's tattooed now."
That's right. That's good. I like that.
That is good. John,
That's 10.
No, I forgot to tell you. You can't do 10s.
Oh, you can't do 10s?
I don't.
Okay.
If they give a 10, they may tip their hat and say good night, everybody.
Oh, yeah, you might
No, I need
never hear from them again.
Cleveland Bill, how come the closet police arrested the shirt for hanging around, but the pants got off with a suspended sentence? Suspended sentence.
That's pretty good.
It is pretty good.
That's 9.5.
That's 9.5
You guys
material.
finished strong. That was a strong finish.
Yeah, well, they know they got a holiday coming up. We're not going to be here tomorrow and Friday. We'll be back. By the way, I'll be on 92.3 The Fan Friday from 11 in the morning till 3 in the afternoon. And that means only one thing, 4 hours of How Come Quickies.
All right.
All right, 3. It's my final offer. That'll be Friday. Then we're back here. Doug Lee Maurice will be here Monday. Bud Shaw Tuesday. Dennis Maniloff Wednesday. And Hoynes will be back if the wind and snow doesn't get him. He'll be back on Thursday. All right, we'll take a break. We're going to come on back. You can follow it, and then Hoynes will do his rant. Call anytime on the voicemail of Truth and Reason, 216-200-6650. Leave us a message anytime. We're on live from 6 until 7 p.m. That's Eastern Time. Any other time, you can go to the voicemail of Truth and Reason. In fact, when we get back, do we want to listen to Mark right now, or do we want to do it when we come back? When we come back, then Hoynes has a rant, I believe. Northfield Park, home for live and simulcast racing. They open at noon for simulcast racing from all over the world. Live racing in the month of December, and that, of course, would be Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And post time for that is 6 p.m., 6:40 on the weekends, Saturday and Sunday. Northfield Park, where it's free admission, free parking every day. We'll come back in a moment with Paul Hoynes. More Sports and Les-levine continues in a moment, exclusively on cleveland.com.
Get your basement ready for the holidays.
We had a horrible storm that flooded our basement.
We had to take out that nasty moldy carpet.
And we never want to have to go through that again. That's when we called Nature's Stone.
And with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, you will never have to replace your basement flooring again. For a limited time, get Nature's Stone installed now and pay nothing until next year. Payments as low as $99 a month. No interest, no down payment. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today. It's not just a floor. Wow, it's Nature's Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Well, you can follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/more-sports-and-les-levine with new content posted each and every day. All right, the moment that all of us wait for on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, whenever Hoynes is here, it is the moment of truth, and that is a Paul Hoynes All-Star Pulitzer Prize winning rant. I don't want to put pressure on you, but the Pulitzer people are waiting for us.
Yeah.
They're
going to be waiting for a while.
Well, yeah, that's okay. All right, what do you got?
Les, this is a time of year when everybody's thankful. The year's winding down. Thanksgiving is right here. Christmas is right around the corner, and it's always better to be positive than negative at this time of year. To see the bright side instead of the dark side. But still, here's how I feel about this time of year, and I'm going to play devil's advocate. I'm going to take the good side and the bad side. So, Les. What I'm not thankful for is that TV commercial where the guy is riding in a car and he's got his head stuck out the window, acting like a St. Bernard puppy, and he's sparking it to other cars, causing them to go into accidents, causing them to make mayhem, definitely. I want to take a rolled up newspaper and chase that guy around the block. But what I am happy for, what I am thankful for, is any commercial with Shaq O'Neal in it, because he's the biggest man in history. I think he's the biggest guy I've ever seen. And Les, I think we're talking Oscar potential here for the big Aristotle. I really do. I think what I'm not thankful for. I'm not thankful for any fan who's trying to find an excuse for Myles Garrett for hitting the Pittsburgh quarterback over the head with his helmet.
That was okay.
I can't. I'm not thankful for that. What I am thankful for is Derek Shelton. Derek Shelton, former Indians hitting coach, being named the Pirates manager today. That's a big thing. Again, what I'm not thankful for is anybody who's upset about Garrett not being suspended indefinitely. If you're Roger Goodell, the NFL commissioner, what else can you do there? Your hands are tied. This guy did something you haven't seen in a long time. So okay, I'm not thankful for that. But what I am thankful for, Les, I am thankful for Dee Haslam wearing Miles' number on her stocking cap at the game last Sunday. I thought that showed some pluck. That showed that was cool. That was good. Some support. What I'm not thankful for. What I'm not thankful for is Cy Young winner Justin Verlander. How many times had Verlander, when he pitched for the Tigers, come into Cleveland and complained that the Indians were stealing signs, that they were cheating? He was crying all the time. Yeah, now, since his new team, the Houston Astros, have been nailed to the wall cheating, you haven't heard a word from this guy. He hasn't said a peep. Okay. But what I am thankful for? I am thankful for that I got to see Indians catcher Roberto Perez catch the whole season without a pass ball. Almost a thousand innings without one pass ball. What I'm not thankful for is Perez didn't win the Platinum Glove. From Rawlings, he won the Gold Glove, but he didn't win the Platinum Glove. That went to Matt Chapman, Oakland's Matt Chapman. But the thing that figured into to winning the glove, it was all these new defensive stats. Perez had the best WAR of anybody, defensive WAR in the American League. He led the American League, and he still doesn't wear it. So if you're going to use those stats, use them. So here's what I am thankful for. What I am thankful for? I am thankful for the Indians at least are in position to kick the tires on giving Shane-Bieber or Mike-Clevinger an extension. I think that's a good thing. I don't know if they're going to do it, but they're in position. This is the perfect time to do it. What I'm not thankful for is they can't do the same thing with Lindor. That's kind of water under the bridge now. So I'm resigned to that. I'm resigned to that fact that this has kind of gone the way of the dinosaur. So we're not going to see that. What I am thankful for is Nick Goody got a job with Texas. They claimed him on waivers yesterday. So that's a good thing. He's a good guy. He can get a strikeout in a tough spot. And I think his surgery in 2018 caught up to him at the tail end of this season. What I'm not happy about is, good guys like Jason Kipnis and Danny Otero aren't going to be probably with the Indians next year. I'm going to miss talking to them. and what I am thankful for, what I'm really thankful for, is Baker-Mayfield and his Progressive insurance commercials. You know, for a long time, Les, maybe, you know, until the last 3 weeks of the season, this season, I thought he may have chosen the wrong field of endeavor. I thought he was in the wrong business. But Les, what I'm really thankful for, what I really want to thank you for, is for having me on and for you to have a great Thanksgiving.
Okay?
Jesus Christ. Yes.
What I'm thankful for is we don't have to call EMS for you. What I am thankful for is you find find us and you come here as often as you can, and we love every minute of it. So you didn't have ice cream and chocolate cake?
No, didn't. I couldn't.
Is that the traditional Hoynes Thanksgiving dessert?
Well, we have French silk pie. You know, chocolate French silk pie.
What time do you start?
Ooh. By the time I've got to eat it the next day because I eat so much turkey.
Right.
And I'm stuffed. The dessert I can't.
Dessert's a waste of time.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. You got to eat turkey first.
All right, congratulations. Thank you. When we talk about Thanksgiving, I thank people like you and to see fit to come to visit us, and it's terrific. You're great. All you guys are great. Paul Hoynes, Plain Dealer, and cleveland.com. That'll do it for us. Again, you'll see me you'll hear me. There's a How Come Quickie. How come you can make an appearance on radio? I'll be making an appearance on radio on Friday from 11 in the morning until 3 in the afternoon. And we're back here Monday night with Doug Lay, Maurice Budshaw on Tuesday, Dennis Maniloff Wednesday, and then Hoynesy is back on Thursday. That'll do it for us. Of all the shows I've ever done, this was the most recent.